Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back. We've got the SPG Aero Spin Tester or Aero Straightness Detector. So this has actually been jacked up a little bit in price. I bought one and it was, I guess, the only one left in stock at the time, or I don't know. I didn't really check the quantity that was there, but the price has been turned up to $51.38. Same seller, and because it says you last purchased this item, blah blah blah. So same seller, and I paid $47.98. So went up. I don't know. Maybe inflation hit up in the last week. Who knows? But worth every penny. Now, for those of you who just want to get out of here, 4.5 out of 5 is where I'm at with it. Go and buy it. You'd be a fool not to. This thing is precision built. It is channeled aluminum. It's got some beef to her too. Okay, now they do say lightweight, but it's not heavy, but it's not light. It's not like that piece of garbage all plastic tester they got up there for anywhere from $30 to $50 for the same exact thing from different sellers. That thing is garbage. It looks like it's got washers for runners, you know. This is precision bearings, you know. And this thing is precisionally built too. The end pieces are 3D printed. And I gotta tell you, that is a really snug precision fit to get this thing to go together. And then you just turn the screw and lock it. You don't even have to hardly turn the screw that hard either, and it ain't not gonna move. Now, I'm not gonna be pulling this apart, putting it together, pulling it apart, I mean, what's the point? It's just gonna wear out the friggin' channels over time on the plastic. So assemble it once and leave it alone. It doesn't take up much space anyways, okay? So, but if you're into archery for target shooting only, or whether you're target shooting and hunting, you need to have one of these things, because we all buy arrows from all kinds of vendors. I am definitely sticking it out with ACMOS, okay, ACCMOS. This is one of their arrows that I got from my recurve. It cost me $57 a dozen. They're cut shaft to shaft at 28 inches. I have a 28-inch draw, so 28 inches. And then you get a little bit of extra length because of the knock depth from the knocking point and whatever tip you have on there. And you need to get at least an inch, inch and a half past the front of your riser anyways with broadheads, or you're just asking for it, okay? So at your own risk, be a fool. Or listen to the experts on YouTube that tell you this is what you need in front, okay? And so I'm going to listen to the experts on that one. Anyways, now every one of the ACMOS arrows, just as a bit of an FYI, they all come with O-rings, either pre-installed on the field tips if they're already fully installed in the package. One pack of my arrows, I think it was these. It was either these or my other ones, but one of the sets anyways. I had to install my own field tips and my own O-rings. And I found out this morning, previous to shooting this video, do not install the O-rings on any arrow, okay? Now, I don't know how well you're going to see this in video, but I'm going to spin it really slow here. And what I'm going to tell you, at least, from what I'm seeing here, okay, is that, yeah, the field tips are not 100% made. No field tip is. I got field tips from other vendors on different arrows here, too, and they all have a slight bit of what appears to be an out of roundness to them, okay? And that's not a major make it or break it anyways. But when I'm looking at this and I'm seeing how well that's spinning, that's almost perfectly concentric field tip, okay? But let's take the field tip off and check the arrow itself, all right? Because that's the whole goal here. Now, if you're building arrows, you have nothing installed at the time from a bare shaft, so you want to make sure your ends are cut dead straight, okay? And these are straight. Now, their tolerance, if I recall correctly, I could be wrong, maybe I will check, but if I recall correctly, their tolerance of straightness is 0.0006, okay, if I recall correctly, okay? It could be a little straighter than that yet, but that is bloody straight. Now, what I wanted to show you is the field tip. Let's put the O-ring back on. Now, the O-rings are nice because once you snug them on, they're not going to loosen off too easy. You'll rarely ever have to re-snug your tip. But I'm going to tell you, do not use the O-rings, and I'm about to rip them off all my arrows. And you'll see why. Now we've got a really bad wobble. Now, even though the arrows, they hit the target, they land dead straight, left, right, up, down. There is no tail issues, no arrow issues whatsoever. They are going in perfect, okay? The problem I have is with having the O-ring on there, that creates a balance in flight, okay? Or in flight out of balance. So that could explain why you have deviations. It's not always going to be you. It's not always going to be Mother Nature or a combination of both. It could very well be that because you have an O-ring on there, that's why you're not getting consistent proper groupings in a really tight area, is because these things wobble during flight, and some of them may actually wobble a little bit more than others, which can happen too. I haven't checked all my arrows yet. I'm going to have to now. But I'm going to also rip off all the O-rings, because we just saw ourselves that without the O-ring, that tip runs way truer, okay? But with it, not so much, okay? Now, the other reason I want to get these is not because I don't trust the arrows. I trust the arrows fully from Acmos. I trust all my arrows to be straight, and so far every arrow I've tested is, okay? But I also have been playing around with these Fiachis. And I spent a lot of painstaking hours sharpening these things and tuning them. And turns out I've got 4 more I've got to go back to the drawing board a little bit on. Not that they're out by that much. They took on some damage from colliding with each other into the target. And so I got to straighten that out. But also the damage might be irreparable on a couple of them, because the collision may have bent one or two of them, because they're not running as true as they did before, okay? But I do have 5 that are still running absolutely perfect, which I kind of figured. I mean, the drill, the hand drill is only going to be so concentric, but if they're looking concentric in the drill, then they should be just as good here. And as it turns out, the drill was actually a pretty good indicator. These things actually run even truer than they did in the drill. So I'm quite happy with the results of all that painstaking hours of sharpening and balancing and tuning these things up. So that was fantastic. But we got 5 like that. But I'm going to take one of our ones, because I did notice some edge damage on a couple of these. So that's going to throw them out a bit. And it may have bent a blade, who knows. But we're going to retune them and see. But I can see right there, that's out a bit. And that's out about the same amount as my field tip with an O-ring. And these have no O-rings. So I still have some fixing up to do, because I can see a little spot there. That blade looks pretty good. And I'm looking at the edges. These 2 edges look fine. But I'm going to have to go and I'm going to have to retune these, because they're definitely out a bit. And I want them to be as perfect as the arrow is perfect, okay? Now, perfect is an illusion, trust me, but my version of perfect is 99%, and this is 97. So I need 2% back out of this. And a couple of them, I probably need 3% back out, because I did notice one took a real bad nick on the edge, so it had a good collision on a side swipe in the target. So now, I want to point something out really quick for you guys. You will get a review on these anyways, but these are Allen Company Velox Optimus 3s. Out of a batch of 3, pack of 3, I have 1 that runs concentric. The other 2, don't buy these, okay? But you'll still get a separate review, because it does make for a good separate video. And I'm going to give real good close-ups on these on the video, just so you can see how pathetic they really are. But that one's pretty bad, okay? I am not going to trust that at all. And I'm not even focusing on the blades as much as I am the whole shaft, okay? This one is pretty damn severe, if I remember correctly. I think this was the worst one out of the 2. Oh yeah, that's horrifying. So, anyway. Get back here. That's the stupid retainer ring. Poor quality, poor construction. All right, I got a rage tip here. We don't need to go through that though. The rage tip runs really true. But I wanted to show you a couple arrows. So that's this one from Acmos. It's a great little arrow, but I got to go rip off all the O-rings. This is a Predator practice arrow. It's 700. By the way, that's a 500 spine. This is 700. It's pre-built, factory, glued on tip, okay? So probably 25 or 50 grain if we're lucky, but anyways, runs nice and straight. That is really good. Oh, hey, they actually marked it. First time I noticed that. 80. Yeah, that's 80 grains worth? Doesn't look like 80. It's glued on, for crying out loud. Well, maybe it's an 80 grain tip. Doesn't come off though, unfortunately. Otherwise I'd be swapping them out because, yeah, we'll need a bit more upfront weight. All right, so we got an Easton here. This is a 500 spine and whatever, and runs nice and true. No complaints there. Really good arrows. The Eastons cost me pretty much double what the Acmos do, and they're about the same straightness. So anyway, I'm sticking with Acmos from now on. Other than I'm still buying Eastons for my center point bow, because I do have a half a dozen of them, and I am going to buy another probably half a dozen or so. They're just being used as practice arrows anyways, and I don't mind supporting local, especially with the guy I deal with. He's really super helping me out a lot. So it's like, hey, fair is fair, man. Support your local shops. Yeah, that's what I wanted to show you. Aluminum arrows. Now, I don't recommend anybody buy aluminum arrows. I had tons of these things back in the day, about 11 years ago. And when I had my Martin Magnum Phantom bow, because, well, they came with it from my buddy, and I shot the snot out of those things. I even shot them at stereos. It's on my channel, trust me. Anyways, this one is, I don't know what happened to it, but look at the damage. Like, that is, like, really freaking bad. Now, I don't know how old these arrows are. They're obviously very old, considering it's like a point on the back and the tips are just glued on. And I'm not even concentrating on that knock. I'm looking at this area in here. So if I feed it back to the edge here, yeah, that's the arrow's got a bend or a twist in it. That's really bad. But yet the rest of the arrow, other than that one bad area, runs true. I don't even think I could cut that short enough to get a good arrow out of that. I'd have to cut it right at the end of the fletches. Yeah, that'd be pushing it. That's, well, actually, I could do that. I could build it for my wife, maybe. Because she's got a 26. So I could turn that into a 26 for her. So maybe I'll do that. Maybe she can have an aluminum arrow to beat the hell out of. This one, on the other hand, this one runs nice. It still runs completely concentric. Of course, the field tips are field tips, and some of these things suck. No O-ring on this one. That's old, but the whole arrow runs fantastic. So if you're looking for a good arrow tester and you don't want to spend $160 or $200, which is stupidity at that point, but people do have it in their brain, the more you pay, the better you get. You're not going to get better than this, okay? I mean, that's, like, seriously, I don't know what you're paying for if you pay double or triple or quadruple the price, but that's a quality built product in my books, okay? And I highly recommend it. Now, like I said, they did turn the price up to $51 from $47. Now, that's Canadian dollars, obviously, but it's worth every freaking penny. And now I can go through all broadheads that I buy from the future on. I'll be able to retest my broadheads that I have to fix up, thanks to some shooting into the target. And I now know which broadheads did survive that testing, because there were 9 only that were good in the end, and I still have the other 5 that are still fine. I do have one good Velax Optimus 3 blade out of a pack of 3, and that cost me 26 bucks, and it's like, yeah, we're never doing that again. Anyways, stay tuned for more, folks. We got more videos coming for you. Hopefully I get a few more packages in the mail between today and tomorrow, if all works out right. I'm crossing my fingers. And I'm sure you'll definitely enjoy those videos even that much more. Hopefully this wasn't too boring for you. See you in the next one. Ciao.